Alright, how's it going? We have a deck tech for commoner dash deck for this video. It's a strong dash deck using all mech cards. The mech cards allow you to give go again on all your attacks, so it's reliable in that sense. It's going to be having 17 reds, 12, but technically 13 because our item is going to be a yellow. 13 yellows, and then 10 blues, for a total of 40 cards. And then I have like one honorable mention in the end of the video. Starting out though, we'll just go over the gist of the deck, and we're going to be going over the 0 cost cards first. And there's 8 of those, and they're all going to be boosters to attacks. We have the lock and loaded red, 2 red, and then 2 yellows. The reds give it +3, the yellows give it +2, and then if you boost it before you play it, you get to op 1. A lot of the times you won't be getting that second ability with these boosting cards, or the boosting of the attack cards, I should say. Technically these majority are boosting as far as the ability boost. And you got, for the second booster cards, you have Rotary Ram, 2 reds, and then 2 yellows of Rotary Ram. It's the same thing, +3 and then +2, but however, if you boosted before you play this, it will go to the bottom of your deck for end game basically. With this deck though, it's really fast paced. There's not too many times I've come close to getting milled out. I tried to dish out an average of like 13 damage a turn. My highest turn was 20 damage, and in commoner you start out with 20 HP, so that's pretty devastating for the opponent. Next, we're going to start out with our attacks. We're going to be rocking the full set of 0 to 60. So 2 reds, 2 yellows, and 2 blues. These are great because they cost 0 and they hit for 4 and block 3. All the cards in this deck are going to be blocking for 3, which is really nice as well. Granted, you don't really block too much with dash because we're just going to be trying to outrace the opponent by taking a little bit of damage if we can, and then just kicking out more damage than every turn than they would be able to. So this kind of just becomes a race to the finish line. That's kind of why her name is Dash, I think. We got, for the one, these are all 1 cost. We have the full set of zipper hit. We have 2 reds, 2 yellows, and 2 blues as well. So these are good because it's the only 1 cost attack in the deck. So if you rock a blue, you can play one of these, and then a 2 cost. And then it's 5 damage, 4, and 3. So not too bad either. Going to the next attack, we only have 4 throttles, 2 blues, and 2 reds. This is mainly the blues for pitching, and then the reds for, because it's a 6 attack. It's one of the higher attack cards we have. It's a 6 attack that does have boost, so it can go again with a cost of 2. So the blues, like I said, are usually for pitching, and then reds, of course, to dish out some high damage and get some go again on it as well. Then we have 6 combustible couriers, 2 reds, 2 yellows, and 2 blues. The great thing about this card, like I said, usually the blues are going to be used for pitching in this deck. However, you can use the yellows and reds to attack, and if they do hit, it gets +3 to your next boosted attack. So it has to be a boosted attack, so it cannot be some attacks. I'll go over more of the synergy of the deck with the cards after I just pretty much show up the gist of the deck tech. Going on to the next set of 6 cards is going to be Payload. You got 2 reds, 2 yellows, and 2 blues. The blues, once again, mainly for pitching. However, the Dominate is very good. If you're able to boost this up to extra damage, then it really helps out with that Dominate. And then the red, of course, is 6 Dominate, if not more. And that's basically, I saved my payloads. I have 6 of them. I was thinking about rocking less than 6 because it is kind of a lot as far as cards. But the Dominate at end game, you want to give yourself that opportunity to have a Dominate near the end. And Dash, this deck is really fast. You try to get them down to like lower than half their life, and by like turn 3 if possible. So it's a pretty quick deck. And then for the last 3 cards, we have 2 being out or Overblast. This can usually go out for 8 damage. You usually can boost 3 times if you have this arsenaled, and then come out for 8 damage for a cost of 2. So that's a really powerful card as well. And then we do have an Overloop as just a single card. I didn't put too many of Overloops in here because, like I said, this deck you usually don't get to the bottom of your deck. With this, you usually finish the match out before. This, if it hits, goes to the bottom of your deck, and it costs 2 boosts and 5 attack. So it's not a bad card at all, but technically, like I said, that second ability of it, we don't really benefit from too much. So going into the honorable mention, I could trade out and the Overloop for Back Alley Breakline. It is 1 less defense though, it costs 1 less, and it's the same attack. And then great thing about this, if it does get banished when you boost, you gain an action point, so you can technically keep that go again. However, I believe the combat chain will close, so if you wanted to like do an Overblast or a Payload, then you may be unable to do that. Or you may be still able to do it, but not gain the damage from it, so to say. Going on to the equipment, we're just going to start out first by, of course, the hero, and then Dissipation Shield. This is a card that most people don't play. They play Hyperdrive, and I don't have too many issues with my resources. With my 10 blues and 13 yellows, I'm usually able to kick out some good amount of damage with the resources of the cards I draw. So this is great. This allows you, though, you always want to play turn 2 with this. You usually want to do that anyway with Dash, but with this item, it starts with 4 counters on it, and then it can instant speed take or prevent the next 4 damage done. So if you go second with this deck, then that allows you to kind of mill out the 4 cards you have in your hand to see which ones you want to maybe get a better hand for. And then if nothing else, just block 4 damage with the shield. And then next, when your turn, you redraw all up and just have a really powerful second turn or first turn, and kind of put the pace back in Dash's arena, so to say. Then we're going to be going to a nice thing that most people I don't think notice with this card is the Lost Prince. The great thing about this, it attacks for 4 with only 2 cost. You can only attack with it 3 times in the game, and that's kind of a negative about it. Like I said, these matches don't last too long with this deck. You dish out a lot of damage real quick, and that's about it. I rock this instead of the pistol though, because for the 4 damage 3 times, that's a total of 12 damage, and with a pistol, you would have to attack, I think 6 times to reach 12 because it attacks for 2. So you have to attack 6 times with the pistol just to get the same or the amount of damage with the shard, and it basically costs 2 as well for the pistol because you got to load it for 1, and I think shoot it for 1. And so that, I think this Prince is just much stronger card with the deck tech. Going to the armor, we have kind of the generic armor, going with the Ironhide, Null Rune, and just, oh, I'm sorry, these are just the 2 head equipments. There's not too many times you'll come across someone with Rune Chants. However, this is like for like Briar, and then I usually always rock the Ironhide helm. Going to the arms, I'm always going to rock the gauntlets due to the fact we're trying to push out as much damage as we can, and the gauntlets allows us to do that with giving the cost 2 or greater. You do kind of have to telegraph it because you have to play it at the beginning of the turn when you start your chain with the boosts. Say if you want to get like a +2 to your dominant, you'll have to maybe play this, get him to block heavy on the courier, or then, and honestly, you usually don't have too many 2 attacks. What a good combat chain usually looks like in this deck is going to be something like 0 to 60, a zipper hit, so 0, 1, and then 2, which allows you to play that by just pitching a blue. So that's 3 mana right there. You can, though, with this next set of equipment, do a little bit else, because they're just sticking with this combat chain. You have to pop this first. You can't pop it before you do this because then this breaks the chain and you don't get the boosted benefit of getting dominate on this. So you have to kind of telegraph it by playing the gauntlet, attacking for technically 9 damage by only costing 1 resource, and using a 2 less resource to play your Payload, that's going to be at 8 dominate, which is just really powerful to kind of end the turn up. And then technically, as I did earlier, you can start that chain with a combustible courier. You just want to make sure that this card either hits, which usually isn't most of the time, and you then have to play something like a zipper hit, like that red zipper hit, or the 0 to 60, and hopefully get one of those damage through. And when that happens, that is when you would go to our next set of equipment, which is going to be, you'd pop your vest of full first fist, which gives you 2 resources to allow you to play that the Payload at the end of the chain. This is what I rock basically 10 out of 10 times. Then we have an Ironhide plate if we need more defense, and then Null Rune. There hasn't been too many wizards, so this is like never basically played. The 2 rune blades I'll use is for the head equipment and the leg equipment, and then I usually always rock the vest and then the gauntlets for the chest and arms. So lastly, we're going to be talking about the leg equipment. We have the Ironhide, the Achilles accelerators, and the Null Rune boots. I never really use the Achilles accelerators. These technically will replace the Null Rune in most cases, but because we don't use cards that give us a chance of losing our go again, like say this is like if you have like, you know, a defense reaction and you boost it, and then you'll lose the benefit of go again, you'd have to pop this to give yourself an action point. But because we always have mech cards being boosted, it will always get go again. So the boots don't really operate as much as what I tend to run, and that's going to be the just extra defense with the Ironhide. And so the basic equipment setup is going to look like this. Get everything set up real quick. And so this allows you, with your hand, like I said, there's not really any issues with the resources. So you can throw down 1 yellow, if you have to, 1 turn to block for 4, and you'll still have 3 cards in hand. And that, or if like it's like a dominate, because that's usually what I save these for, is for like, you know, a dominate turn where I block 4 with equipment, and then like, you know, 3 for a total of 7. And 7 damage block with, you know, dominate's pretty good. Only using 2 cards from hand, and then you can maybe attack for the Prince or then Arsenal card. The great thing with this deck, if you have a card Arsenal, it really boosts out your damage output. So you kind of, maybe will 1 turn not put out too much damage, but you'll pick up the pace hopefully next turn. And that pretty much finishes up the deck tech. This deck so far has won an armory event and placed 3rd in another one. It got hit with a thump for 13 damage against the old team. That kind of took me out the match, and that was before I added I would have not died against that match if I had the Ironhides and not the Iron Rots. But that's why I did make that one change. If you have any questions, you know, just hit me up in the comments, and feel free to subscribe to additional footage that I'm going to have concerning deck techs and also live gameplay. Hopefully soon. I'm thinking maybe to add live gameplay probably within the next month. And yeah, I'm going to be continuously trying to evolve this channel, so go ahead and drop that. I'll have the link, of course, in the description, and then also at the end of the video. So thank you for watching, and have a great night. Bye.